Hello everyone, I'm Skratch. Welcome to the channel. This is another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today, I want to do a spotlight on Zorak, guys, and on the Ice Blast team. Now, there's been a lot of chit-chat about this champion since the beginning of Season 2 that he sucks, okay? I feel like the main thing with him is that early on, when you are still grinding your levels through the season, I feel like you're just not able to build him properly. You cannot get enough enlightenment on him and enough attack, etc. to really bring this champion to its full potential. Then, of course, putting him in the right team matters quite a bit. I got fortunate enough to have a legendary artifact for him as well, but that can be replaced and you can still get value out of the champion. The reason why I want to put the Ice Blast in the spotlight again, guys, is because I'm seeing a lot of you guys out there in Season 2 with crazy accounts, and just because you haven't summoned the legendary exclusive Beldele from the Ice Blast, you choose to go with a more inferior team, okay? You're going with Wild, or you're going with some different teams that are underperforming compared to an Ice Blast team formed of epics only in terms of damage dealers, you know? So I just want to put that in the spotlight again and kind of like stress it out a bit, because this will improve your damage overall. It's not because I'm gaining anything from it, you know? So Zorak is one champion that actually deals derivative damage with a passive, and on top of it, when he's buffing with his ultimate, will grant his passive to the Ice Blast allies, okay? Which is interesting. Is a very interesting thing, because that actually will boost the damage of the rest of the team, you know? So it's definitely an interesting champion. I don't think he's as powerful as a Flora or any other derivative damage champion that might deal crazy damage, but I still think he deserves his spot in the game. Yeah, I would like him to do even more, but hey, we're gonna have to make it work with what we have. So I have 336 enlightenment, 4.8k attack. I would like more enlightenment, a bit of more attack, and more survivability. I'm losing him too early in the fight, and unfortunately, you know. And when we are talking about Ice Blast, guys, you might not have the legendaries that I have available, and that's perfectly fine, okay? They are 3 epic champions that deal amazing damage. I already showcased Bladin together with Gertin. Bladin is a good activator because he can put ice crystals on your team, you know, or at least on the damage dealer, the main damage dealer. Then you have Gertin right here. So if you make her with the highest attack, Bladin will buff her with increased attack and with stacks of Ice Blast, which will be very, very beneficial for her. The whole idea is that her and Bladin, they only need around 80% crit rate or so, and they get to do a lot of damage. They are easier to build than other champions, and my god, this little one, she deals so much damage that she's mind-blowing, okay? But I'm gonna show you that in just a second. And then we have Sadiq. Now, I haven't personally tried him. I've seen quite a few people saying that he deals crazy damage, and I'm looking forward to try him as well once I'm gonna get back onto the test server, and just to use the 3 epics together. No Sheena, no Zorak, just the 3 of them together, because all of them with their ultimate will gain a stack of ice crystal, you know, and I can get my Gertin to 3 stacks if everything goes good, you know, maybe 4 stacks. So that overall should still bring in a lot of damage. I feel like the 3 of them together, with the right support, they can take you to 25 million without a problem as an Ice Blast team. While if you're using Wild this season, I think it's going to be harder, honestly, if you don't have Ogok to kind of like go unkillable and stuff, you know. But that being said, let me just quickly show you the team that I'm running. Yes, I am running a couple of legendaries as well, guys, because I do have them available, and I want to showcase my team as well to see how it works. This can inspire you to make your own team even without the legendaries. That's why I gave you examples of the epic champions before. And Garius, the real cheat code here is Garius and the staff, enabling me to use this team without decreased attack. I've tried using decreased attack with Vinyara instead of him, but I'm going to explain a couple of more things in a second about that. So this is my team right here. This is what I have in terms of gear. How you may notice, I don't actually have that specific artifact. I don't have those specific artifacts on Gertin and Gillian. I actually have 2 different ones, and we're going to go with them. For the Witch's Remains, you can use Crown of the Unclean. Let's actually do that just to show you that works pretty good too. You're not losing a lot of damage, and the reason why you're not losing a lot of damage is because the boss doesn't have insane defense. So that's something that we've been looking into for a while now, and we've seen that the boss really doesn't have like disgusting defense. Now my only problem right now is that I lost a lot of HP on her, so hopefully we're going to be fine. I don't want to max the artifact just yet. I don't have the resources to do it either. So we changed that too, and now we have a different artifact on her. Now for Garius, having the staff is actually pretty important. For Zorak, I do have the Queen's Fan, which I do think enables him to deal a bit of extra damage compared to the bomb, if we would use the ink bomb, you know. This is kind of like the second best option, I think, for him. I don't really think that anything else will actually benefit him more. So using the Vile Ink on him can potentially work pretty good, you know. I don't think it's going to be as good as the Queen's Fan, of course, but it will still do a decent amount of damage. So you could potentially use this, but I don't have it maxed, and I'm losing so much attack from it. But you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Why not? Let's do it. We are doing video. Let's reduce the amount of legendary artifacts. But I need a staff. Unfortunately, without the staff, things are not looking too great, okay? Let me just be honest. But I managed to finally put all my team pretty much in legendary gear. So that made a bit of a difference because before, we didn't have a double drop rate. So for the last 3 days, since we have it in-game, I farmed the Venom in the first day. I farmed the Heretical Ruins in the second. And today, I farmed the Ancient Battlefield. So I managed to finally give them some better gear. They have some better stats. The gear still sucks, honestly. I feel like on Gertin is pretty decent. But for the rest, it's kind of like, definitely a lot of room for improvement, you know? Another quick thing to keep in mind is that the preset is very important. You want to have Zorak to use his ultimate first, just to kind of like enable the other ones to have his passive for 15 seconds, which is a very nice touch. Gillian at 21.5 because she gives me increased defense. So like this, when Garius is gonna get slammed by the single hit, he will have the increased defense from Gillian. And then we have Sheena at 12.5 seconds, and they're all going on 20-second cycle, except Gertin, which has it at 16, and I'm not going to mess up with that. You know, let's put it as low as possible so we make sure it stays at what it was. But that being said, let's crack on with the run. It doesn't need to be far anymore because we don't have the artifact on. Once I'm gonna do this run, I'm gonna show you how much damage I've dealt with my legendary artifacts. One thing to keep in mind as well is that I do have my Psychic Core at level 1 on the last thing, so I have the 200% extra damage, which a lot of people are constantly saying that is not working, okay? They're saying it's not working, so I cannot confirm it or deny it, but what I can tell you is that from yesterday to today, I've seen a damage improvement of over 4 million, almost 5 million for my team. And that is because I've made that one level on the Psychic Core. Plus, I've got 2 runes for Gertin and for Zorak that actually added a bit of an upgrade. But not enough to give me 4+ million damage in a run, you know. I don't think is enough. I do think it's the actual Psychic Core, but a lot of people are saying that is not working, you know. So, how you may notice, Gertin, she is dropping in quite a bit of damage. I am just hoping that we won't be getting resisted too often with my Sheena, but I think we should be fine. Yeah. So we got the cleansing, we got the healing, we got the increased defense. Stack 3, we are at 5.4 million damage. I'm gonna show you the builds after, total stats on all of the champions, just so you guys get a bit of an idea. So talking about the epic champions, you could replace Sheena, you could replace Zorak with the other 2 epic champions in a team like this. Of course, you won't be getting this damage, okay? You will be dropping damage, but it's still superior to a lot of other teams out there, you know? Like, if you don't have the craziest teams from the other elemental affinities, Ice Blast is going to be your friend this season because this was meant to be kind of like the MVP team, you know, the meta. Then, guys, talking about decreased attack. Initially, I used to run Vinyara instead of Zorak, but that was just for a brief moment. The main idea that I have with Vinyara is to give her the Rift Hourglass, give her 2 skill haste sets, and I need to get one more upgrade on Negative Rune to get a triple roar on skill haste. And then I'm gonna get so much skill haste on her that she will be using the ultimate skill every 10 seconds. keeping the decreased attack constantly on the boss. Now, the main thing right there, is that going to give me enough survivability to make up for the damage if I'm removing a damage dealer out of the team to bring her in? Even if I'm gonna put her on a set that will increase the attack, because right now I don't have a set that will actually give me the 15% increase bonus. If I would add that to my team too, that would be crazy. Now, I do think that I could potentially add that set on my Sheena and remove the Gambler set from her, but I'm not sure if that would be a good decision. I'm going to have to test it out. I cannot confirm it or deny it just yet because I need to do some testing with it. But I feel like that could be an option that will increase my damage even more by bringing that set that gives me 15% increased attack. Then, with Vinyara instead of Zorak, I think that if I can keep the decreased attack up for 20 seconds constantly, it will increase my survivability by 25% to 30%. Now, I'm not sure if that would actually bring me the damage that I require to beat my actual damage with 3 damage dealers. So again, that's another thing that I need to test out. But here we are, stack 25, 17 million damage, guys. And the main idea is that we need to get to 25 million. One thing that I can tell you for sure is that my Zorak dropped probably 5% of his damage because we changed the artifact. So before with Queen's Fan, he was ahead of Sheena all the time, roughly by like 2-3% more damage, you know. This time around seems like it's the other way around. So Sheena is actually out damaging him, and that's because of the artifact that we have on. You do want to have the set that will ignore defense with derivative damage on Zorak, because that will increase his damage. That's the main thing as well that we didn't have at the beginning of the season, because it's not only that we were not able to get enough enlightenment and attack on Zorak, we were not able to get a full legendary set that was actually really enabling his passive to deal that derivative damage, you know? So that's one thing to kind of like keep in mind as well. But yeah, he kind of like dropped, he dropped probably, right now, he should have been like at around 6 million damage. So he dropped quite a bit actually, more than 5%. He dropped like a good 10 to 15% damage overall, I think. But I'm gonna be able to see that at the end, honestly. Assuming that we will have the same sort of survivability, we normally survive for another couple of minutes. We are at 25 million damage. We already managed to get the key. And how I mentioned, yes, the staff on Garius is really solid. If you don't have a Gillian to give you that cleanse and increase defense, the best option as an epic will be to use Catherine, and that will give you block debuffs. She will give you some healing, but you won't have the increased defense. So that will make you survive a bit less too, which most probably will scream at bring in 3 support and only 2 damage dealers. So in that case, if you need to bring 2 damage dealers, I would go in with Sheena and with Gertin. If you don't have Sheena, I would go with Bladin and with Gertin. If you have Bladin and you have Seidik, use Seidik instead of Gertin. Based on what champions you have available, I still think that 2 Ice Blasts will perform much better than another team, you know. 30 million damage at stack 60. So not looking too bad so far. I'm gonna show you a screenshot after with the highest damage that I've just dealt, and I can still tweak the team a bit around to squeeze a bit more. So we have Gertin at 16.5 million damage. Not too bad. Sheena putting that defense down. Okay. So with all the legendary artifacts that I was using, I was actually gaining quite a bit of damage. Now I can actually have a better look, you know, to kind of like understand what was happening before. And I feel like a lot of the damage that we lost right now is from Gertin and is from Zorak, and of course having the smaller version of the defense down too, you know. Okay, so we lost the team. Usually that's where they all die. And we are at 34.4 million damage, which is honestly not too bad. Look at Gertin, 18.3 million damage. Sheena with 8, and Zorak with 6.6. So it clearly shows you that Zorak is the easiest replacement in this team if you're looking to bring in a decrease attack champion, you know, because even though Zorak can put in some work with the better artifact, you know, a lot of you guys might not have that, you know, and just kind of like to have a food for thought, basically. Okay, are we surviving more? Yes, we are. We are still going. We are still going. But I feel like we're about to get wrecked in a second here. Probably here, yeah. Yep, as expected. So we got a total of 34.5 million damage. And honestly, it's not too bad. Now, if I'm removing the staff from Garius, this will fail because any decrease attack, you know, is not going to work. But that's what we have in terms of damage. Gertin with 18.3. Then I have Zorak with 6.6. And I have Sheena with almost 8 million. Now, let me just quickly bring in a screenshot for you guys to see the run that I actually had before, which was pretty good damage too. And where is it? Okay, so this is one of them. So right here, I have all the legendary artifacts on the team too, and I've dealt 43 million damage. So what was it? Almost, literally 9 million. 9 million damage more because of all the legendary artifacts. And you can see Zorak right here at 10.1 million damage. And I think he survived one extra cycle, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have Sheena at 8.7. Gertin at 22.8, almost 23. Now, that of course is because she had a legendary artifact as well. We had the Witch's Remains instead of the Crown of the Unclean. We had a different artifact on Gillian as well, and he had the Queen's Fan. So that actually added quite a bit of extra damage overall to allow me to reach the 43 million. But that artifact does help him quite a bit. Let me just quickly show you the stats on them. I was actually very curious to see as well what's the difference on him with the artifacts. Of course, I don't have the epic one maxed as I have the Queen's Fang. So I'm still missing 3% more derivative damage in here, more attack. But with this, I am gaining 546 more attack too, and more damage increase, you know. So his total stats with what we have right now for this run, 39k HP, 4.2k attack, 336 enlightenment. Not too bad, but this set is a must-have for him, the Abyssal set, because it will give you extra damage from the derivative, you know, ignore defense. Then we have Sheena. She's on a Gambler. I'm curious to try her on a different set. And these are her total stats right here. 4k attack, 89 crit, 117 crit damage. She doesn't need enlightenment or anything else like that. Then we have Gertin. She is on a Inventor set, very important. 5k attack, 82 crit rate. That's what she needs. 155 crit damage. So the build on her is actually pretty good now. And when I'm putting the legendary artifact, she just gains 300 more attack instantly, you know. So that's actually helping her quite a bit. Then Garius is intact. The more defense, the more healing, the more shield, okay? For 4.6k defense, 60 skill haste only matters for the battle skill because the ultimate is timed, so he's not going to use it randomly. But this is such a strong artifact for Garius, guys. It's kind of like his exclusive, honestly. It's just so good on him. Then we have Gillian. I feel like she's the last piece of the puzzle, right? The more enlightenment you have on her, the better the healing too. So these are the stats on my Gillian. Initially, for that 43 million, I had the Solar King's Horn on her. Then the other ones, they had different ones too. She had the Witch's Remains, which will actually, of course, increase a bit the damage too. But it's not by that much. The main thing is not the Witch's Remains, honestly. The main thing is having the other artifacts on the heroes, especially on him. He brought alone 4+ million extra damage, if I'm not mistaken, just with this artifact compared to the epic one, you know. So these things do making quite a bit of a difference. But that was all for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you using an Ice Blast team? You're not. You have Zorak. Are you planning to use him? You're not impressed with him. I don't think he's OP, okay? I just don't think he's OP. I think he's decent. And how you've seen it, if you don't have the legendary artifact, the easiest champion to drop out of your team for a decreased attack is Zorak, you know, while you're keeping Gertin and Bladin or Sheena, whatever other champions you have available. Much love. Appreciate every single one of you guys watching. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.